What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back once again for a new episode, brand new episode of Riffs and Rasslin, where we talk all things heavy metal, hard rock, and of course, professional wrestling. And as always, I am your host, Nick, joined by my brother, Willy. Willy, what's good, man?
What's good, man? How's it going?
It's going. Excited for today's topic. We are doing our top five tag teams in our fandom of wrestling. Now, I want to start off by saying that there's a lot of debate out there of who's the greatest tag team of all time, whether it's by wins, losses, by titles, all that. But this is for our fandom in wrestling. This is our personal favorites. I'm sure we're going to have some teams on a list of just didn't quite make our top five, but are still, regarded in our fandom as our favorite teams. But this is just our personal list. It's not an official list. It's not going by, what all the pundits and critics and everybody out there says. This is just our personal list. And I think it'd be interesting to see just how our top fives vary. I kind of comprise my list of adding teams that I don't think get quite enough love. There's a couple teams in here that are obvious that you need to include in a list, especially for me and my fandom. But I kind of went the route of putting some teams in here that just don't get enough love, in my opinion. Before we get into all that, Willie, how'd you go about putting your top five together?
A little bit of both. I put mine's more nostalgia, I think, for me. Teams that really stood out for me as I was growing up. That's pretty much how I put my list together. And then I have some honorables that I want to get to later on in the show that also stood out to me. So I'm excited to share those as well.
Hell yeah, it's gonna be fun. Before we get into all that, our top five, before we get into some of the current stuff that's going on in professional wrestling right now that we want to kind of discuss a little bit, just want to remind you that we are on X, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're everywhere that you consume media. So if you wouldn't mind, please drop that like, hit that subscribe button, share it to friends and family, and comment on any of the platforms. Let us know how we're doing. Do you agree, disagree? What type of topics would you like to see, whether it's professional wrestling, whether it's hard rock, whether it's heavy metal, whatever the case is. We hope that you guys take the time out to like, subscribe, share, and comment on all the social media posts out there. And I'm looking forward to hearing all of you out there and what you have to say about the show. But before we get into the top five, Willie, let's get into some current stuff in the world of professional wrestling.
Oh boy.
We'll start off first with the surprising news within the last couple of days that WWE has decided to part ways with Andrade, which is kind of shocking because he just returned to WWE last year's Royal Rumble after spending some time in AEW and, of course, previously with the WWE/NXT. A great lucha wrestler, enjoyed a lot of success in Mexico before he came over to the WWE. A lot of mixed messages out there on why exactly he was released. Some say it was disciplinary. Some say it had to do with substance abuse. We don't know for sure. There's not been an official statement by either party yet. I do know that Andrade's come out on social media and just pretty much said thank you to WWE. Not sure if that's a thank you for bringing me back for the second run or thank you for the release. Don't know, just quite sure yet. But what's your take on Andrade being released by WWE in an unceremoniously way?
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, man. He's such a great talent to have, and especially to see him on TV. He's fun to just watch. I was sad when he first left WWE and went to AEW, and I didn't really watch AEW at that time, so I missed out on some of his stuff there. But I was excited to see him return, and like you said, just a year and a half, and then he seems to be going away already. There was so much more that they could have used him for. Hopefully, it wasn't creative choice to let him go.
Right, right. Yeah, it is just like shocking that it just came out of nowhere. He just last wrestled this past SummerSlam. It looked like he was getting a decent enough push on the mid card in WWE. He had some good matches, teamed up with like Ray Phoenix and the rest of them. I don't know, man. It's kind of weird just that Andrade just up and gets cut like that. But hopefully, all the best on Andrade. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. Hopefully, we see him back on TV, whether it's in AEW or maybe even CMLL down the line in Mexico, because
Right.
God knows with WWE's purchase of AAA in Mexico, we won't be seeing him over there probably. So
Nope.
pretty interesting, kind of strange to see, but it is what it is, and we wish Andrade all the best. And the other big news in recent professional wrestling right now is the fact that WWE announced that they are taking WrestleMania for the first time ever out of North America and taking it to Saudi Arabia in 2027, dude. Uh, that it's not surprising, to be honest with you. They've done a lot of big
Yeah,
events over in Saudi Arabia. They're getting paid a lot of money to produce these
a
events in Saudi Arabia.
lot.
But man, WrestleMania, a North American staple, the staple of WWE, and to take WrestleMania away from the North American audience for the first time in
Right.
all places, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I don't like it, man. Like, first of all, I'm not waking up at 6 a.m. to watch a 5 hour wrestling event here. You know, that's what I'm not doing that. So that sucks. And then too, yeah, like of all places, like you would think they would like do like Mexico or like Canada at first, not overseas to Saudi Arabia. But like you said, they have done quite a bit of shows there now, and they are getting paid what was it, $100 million or something like that for
Yeah,
this.
that's what the reports were.
So it's a lot of money, and it just kind of makes sense. But unfortunately, it's really a bummer that the U.S. fans is going to be missing out for the first time, the first Mania. They're going to be missing out, and like they can't even travel to like Canada. You know, if it was in Canada, they would be able to travel to Canada to see it, but no one's going to go to Saudi Arabia. So that's pretty
Yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah, it is. Again, like I said, it was not surprising that they're making the move over there, but it's kind of a letdown to see that Saudi Arabia would get an event like that. They're already getting Royal Rumble 2 coming up.
Yep.
Now they got WrestleMania coming to them. It's like they have enough big events over there, and the Saudi people that put this together don't even know what's going on in WWE because the reports, came out a few years ago when they first started doing all these shows in Saudi Arabia that Saudi Arabian people wanted like Sid Vicious and Ultimate Warrior and all these people on the show, and it's like,
Right.
do you guys not understand the current product right now? Like who's here and who's
Yeah.
not?
Exactly.
So it is what it is. It's all about money for WWE right now. I don't think that this market that we're in right now is going to last for WWE. They're
Hmm.
making it way too expensive to go to any of their shows anymore. It's a shame, really, because professional wrestling at one time was a great little family trip. You know what I mean? Able to afford for a
Yep.
family of four to go to a show, and now anymore, especially for WWE, it's like you got to mortgage the whole fucking house in order to go to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
I don't know. A lot of things happening over in WWE now that they are no longer a sole entity. Now they're controlled by a corporate board.
Yeah.
I don't know. Big things changing for WWE, and I guess we have to go along with the ride and see how it all works out. And also, too, WWE's partnership with ESPN now, where
Yeah,
all their
man.
pay per views are on ESPN in the United States, and now we have to fork over $30 a month for an ESPN app that nobody asked for. Like, what the
Right.
hell, dude?
Yep. Yep. Just why do you partner with Netflix and if you're just gonna push everything over to fucking ESPN? Like that made so what how you're not that hungry for money. And like
Exactly.
we don't have all this money to be flying around to all these fucking providers to watch your
Yep.
content. We don't. And we're not gonna do it. Like I'm not paying $30 for ESPN. I'm not
Exactly.
I'm not doing it.
That was the thing too. When everybody started cutting the cord and ditching cable and satellite, is because it was just too damn much. And now you have all these streaming apps. But
Yep.
when you put them all together, and if you put together the money that you're spending on all these streaming apps, you're paying just as much, if not more, than you were for cable and satellite back in the day. So it defeats the whole fucking
Exactly.
purpose.
Yep.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens with WWE. I think that they're getting a little too big as far as asking us regular fans to fork out as much money as possible, which
Yep.
isn't cool in my opinion. But that
Nope.
is what it is, and that's some of the recent news in the world of professional wrestling. But with that being said, Willie, should we jump into our top five of our wrestling fandom and our favorite tag teams?
Let's do it.
All right, brother. Let's start off with number five, dude. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off with your number five tag team?
All right. So, like I said in the beginning, mine are more nostalgia to me. So, my number five is going to be Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
That is
Um,
surprising.
I think just growing up as a kid, they were pretty big when I was like, what, fucking 10, 11, some shit like that. And as a kid, it was just fun seeing these cruiserweights just fucking fly around the ring. And I think their chemistry together was very well put together. And it was just as a kid, I just have like that memory of them facing all these teams and all these people. Like I remember like fucking Taker just throwing them around like they're rag dolls. It was just a fun time to watch them. So that's why I put them as my number five.
I think that might be probably the most random tag team pick of our top five list.
Yeah,
That's a team that definitely wasn't on my radar when I was thinking about a top five. But again, folks, this is our wrestling fandom. These are the teams that we enjoyed watching. Now, don't get me wrong. Teams like Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, all of them are great tag teams, obviously legendary tag teams.
of
They
course.
deserve all the credit, that's due to them. But this is, again, our
Yeah.
fandom of wrestling. So number five, Willie, you got Paul London and Brian Kendrick. Pretty good choice. Pretty interesting choice. For me, my top five, I'm gonna kind of hit it off with a bang right off the bat, and I'm gonna go with from TNA Wrestling, and I'm gonna go with Beer Money Incorporated.
Hell yeah, dude.
Bobby Roode and James Storm. They are, unless things have recently changed in TNA that I'm not aware of, they co-hone the record for most tag team titles won in TNA at five. They were the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Tag Team of the Year in 2008 and 2011. They took TNA by storm. They TNA was always known for their great tag teams, and they
Yeah,
stood out not only because James Storm and Bobby Roode were two different solo characters, and you put them
right.
together, and you've had this redneck James Storm and like this corporate money guy, Robert Roode. Put them together, Beer Money Incorporated. I thought was hilarious. They had a great tag team name, great tag team theme song. Uh,
Hmm.
they were a fun team to watch. Their matches were legendary with guys like Team 3D, and the list goes on from there. Uh, Two great solo acts being put together in a tag team, and they made it work, man. Beer Money was just fun as hell.
It was such the perfect time for them to do that character too. I think in 2008, I feel like if you would have done that earlier, like in the 90s, it would have been cheesy as fuck.
Yeah,
But 2008 was just a perfect time period for them to pull that off, and it was just fucking fun to watch them interact. The fucking beer and the fucking money, and then wasn't rude. Like he did never drank, right? So he was
yeah,
always about the fucking money, and then
right.
fucking James Storm was always fucking drinking. It was perfect. It was a perfect fucking tag team.
It was. It was a fun tag team. And when Bobby Roode made the jump over to WWE, when he went to NXT, I know a lot of people, including myself, were hoping that James Storm would make the jump with him over to WWE, so that way you could put Beer Money on the bigger
I
stage
know.
and have Beer Money run rampant within WWE. That would have been fun. That could have been like a
Yep.
what if they would have came over.
Yeah.
But great tag team, man. I enjoyed
Yeah.
watching them. They were very entertaining, very solid in the ring. And again, you got two solo competitors that were great by themselves. You put them together, and they were even better. So Beer
Yep.
Money is my number five.
I love it. And I think James Storm actually had an NXT run for a little
Brief.
little little bit, and it just never worked out for him. It wasn't
No, it didn't, which is
nothing
unfortunate.
clicked. Yeah.
It would have been nice to see, those two have a run over there in WWE. But
Right.
obviously, Bobby Roode's had some health concerns, with a bad neck over the last couple of years, and now he's working behind the scenes in WWE as an agent slash producer. Who knows? We'll see him back in the ring again. But as far as TNA goes, man, they were one of the best tag teams over there, and really fun to watch. And yeah, Beer
Yep.
Money number five.
I love it, man. Good pick.
All right, Willie, give us your number four tag
All
team.
right. Number four is a banger. Is a banger. I'm gonna put the Steiner brothers as my number four.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Talk
Fuck
about a
yeah.
fucking tag team, dude. Talk about a powerhouse. Powerhouse and also a bunch of big boys that can move.
Yep.
Man, they can move around that ring. They can move up and down around their opponents, and they were a fucking fun ass tag team to watch. So I
Yeah,
had
they
to put
were.
them on the list.
Yep, they were awesome. I would have the Steiners on my list as well. I didn't because I knew they were going to be on yours. Steiners are definitely one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Rick and Scott Steiner, man, were legendary, hard hitting, physical team. You got Scott Steiner over here doing Hurricane Ranas and shit that he shouldn't be doing, at
That's
his
what I
size.
mean, man.
But they were fun as hell, dude. I really enjoy the Steiner brothers, man. And now Rick's son, Braun Breaker, over there in
Yeah,
WWE, killing
man.
it right now. It's like, that's awesome to see, too.
Yeah, the whole family is just a fucking beast, man. I don't know what's in their genes, but they got it. They got it.
They did, man. They were fun as hell. Anything stand out as far as like feuds or matches go with their run in like WCW slash WWF?
Nothing like feud wise. I was still a little bit too young to get invested in the feuds, but going back and just watching their earlier stuff back in WCW and WWF at the time, it was just incredible. And I don't think we ever see things like that now, like the way that they would tag each other, like the way that they were inside of the ring together. It was just
Yeah.
a unique fit. And then you look at them now, and they're completely different. They were different in the early '90s than they were in the later '90s. You know,
Yes.
it was like you think of Scott Steiner and you think of the fucking white stash. You think of like the bald head with the chain
Hmm.
link. But then now you go back and you see him with the long black hair. His fucking singlet. He was a fucking beast, dude. Completely different character, completely different role, and I actually like his role better when he was a tag team than I did in his later years.
I can see that. They were fun to watch in the WWF too because they were a big tag team in the land of giants over there. And WWFE really never like put too much emphasis on tag team wrestling. Sure, there were
Yeah,
great tag teams within WWE, but it seemed like some of the other territories, some of the other companies out there put more of an emphasis on their tag team wrestling as opposed to what WWE did. But um, but yeah, the Steiners enjoyed a little bit of success over there as well. But I'm glad a majority of the Steiner success came within WCW because I think that's where, when you think of Steiner Brothers, you think of WCW.
yeah, you do 1%. Yep.
I like that, man. Number
Number
four, the Steiner
4.
Brothers. They would have been on my team too, or my list if they weren't on yours for sure. So my number four, again, trying to show love to teams out there that really don't get talked about all that much, and not because I'm on a TNA bandwagon, but it's another team from TNA as well, and I am going to have to go with America's Most Wanted, AMW, Chris Harris and James Storm. This was James Storm's tag team before
Down.
Beer Money. Um, this tag team for TNA put tag team wrestling on the map for TNA. They came at a perfect time when TNA was in its infancy, when they needed names, when they needed stars to step up and try to take control of the audience, and AMW was definitely that team to do it. They were managed originally by Gail Kim when they first came in. They had a legendary tag team steel cage match, the first steel cage match in TNA history, by the way, when they took on Eli Skipper and I believe it was Christopher Daniels, I think, if I'm not
Mm.
mistaken. But that was such a great fucking match, dude. They had legendary feuds with Team Canada, Three Live Crew, Team 3D, you name it. They are how many tag teams? They were PWI Tag Team of the Year in 2004, and they went on to win the TNA Tag Team titles 6 times. When they were NWA Tag Team titles for 6 times. But yeah, man, America's Most Wanted was a fun team and another team that had a great look, great theme song, and they just fit perfectly together with Chris Harris and James Storm.
Yeah, man, I had to go back and look at it, and because I was like, man, I don't really remember Chris Harris, unfortunately. And then going back and looking at it now I get to put the face to the fucking name. Yeah, man, what a wild card pick that was. That's a good
Yeah,
fucking pick.
I love me some AMW, and like I said, the wife and I went back a few months ago and started watching TNA from its beginning all the way up until I think it was 2013 that we stopped, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But but yeah, man, they were great, dude. They were solid in the ring. They had great tag team feuds, and again, they helped to put tag team wrestling on the map for TNA at the time when TNA was just coming up. And Chris Harris, unfortunately, didn't do much after leaving AMW. He had a brief stint over in WWE, didn't work out for him. He gained a bunch of weight, and I know there was a lot of like mental problems that he had to go through and whatnot.
Mm.
But while he was over here in TNA, man, he was kicking ass with James Storm in America's Most Wanted, and yeah, dude, it just goes to show you just how versatile James Storm is too. That he goes from being a legendary tag team of America's Most Wanted to just a few years later becoming a tag team with Bobby Roode and
I
Beer Money.
know.
It's like
Right.
he's got a niche for tag team wrestling, I guess.
Yeah, it worked for him, dude. This worked for him, and Beer Money worked for him, and I guess he couldn't get his solo career worked out, but his tag team career fucking sold him.
Yeah, yeah. So, folks, if you haven't already checked out America's Most Wanted, I implore you to do so. Go to YouTube, type in America's Most Wanted TNA, or go get the TNA app and go back and watch some of the earlier TNA shows, and you'll see what I'm talking about. They were a fun tag team. I think a very underrated tag team that nobody talks about quite as much anymore, unfortunately. So,
Yep.
that's my number four from TNA, America's Most Wanted, Chris Harris and James Storm.
Starting this top 5, I wasn't expecting your first two picks to beat TNA back to back.
Really
Mm-mm.
interesting.
Did not. Nope.
Huh.
All right. Well, you want to do number three?
Number three, sir. What is your number three tag team?
All right, number three, right in the middle of my list. Yeah, I had to put them on. They are, of course, Team 3D, the Dudley Boys.
Hell
They
yeah.
are, they are amazing to fucking watch, and I think like everyone, what stands out is, of course, their fucking ladder matches, right? Their fucking
Yep.
TLC. These big boys fucking have no business being in a fucking TLC match, but they do because they came from fucking ECW where that all they fucking did was tear up the fucking house, you know?
Yep.
So big Bubba fucking flying around his big ass, you know? And we talked about them in previous episodes and no reason to beat that fucking horse again, but they if you can have a top 5 tag team list without the fucking Dudley Boys. You can't.
I agree, dude. They set the world on fire in ECW. They had some legendary matches mixed with Bubba Ray / Bully Ray's mouth on the microphone, inciting near riots in ECW in the mid to late '90s. Legendary fucking tag team. If I'm not mistaken, I think they hold the record for most tag team championships won by a tag team as well. They've won the New Japan tag titles, WWF tag titles, ECW tag titles, and I believe even WCW tag titles when WWE bought out WCW. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can't go wrong having Team 3D / the Dudley Boys on your list.
Now they were a tag team for fucking 20 years before they ended things. Do you think that's the longest running tag team?
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. Yep. And by
Yeah.
the way, they're getting back together this year in October at Bound for Glory in TNA, where they are going to once again relive their legendary tag team feud with the Hardy Brothers, dude.
Oh shit. That
Yep,
should be interesting. You know, I didn't realize how much of their career they spent in TNA.
a lot.
They spent 10 years in TNA.
Yep. Yep. When they were originally released by WWE, they went over to TNA and they wanted to use the team name Dudley Boys, but WWE owned that intellectual property. They owned that name since they bought ECW out. So that's why they had to go by Team 3D, which obviously, if people remember, 3D was the name of their tag team finisher, the Dudley
Mm-hmm.
Death Drop. So they decided to name themselves Team 3D. But legendary feuds in WWE or F with the Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys and all those
Yep.
ladder matches. They had TLC matches. Those were incredible to watch, especially at that time that they first
Oh
pulled
yeah.
those out. Those were groundbreaking matches, dude.
Yeah, that's why they did what a total like 3 of them, like
Yep.
almost back to back, like one after the other.
Yep. And they all got better, which is hard to do, especially in a gimmick match
Mm.
like that. It's hard to like top yourself each time, but each time they
Yep.
did, it was better. The first one was good, second one was better, and the third one was off the chain, man. It's like they
Yep.
and Bubba Ray has such a mind for the business too that he is so fucking smart. If you sit down and listen to Bully Ray talk about professional wrestling, it's like it makes you wonder how this man is not a writer / booker or has his own company, because this man is fucking brilliant, dude, when it comes to
Yeah.
wrestling. Hey, honestly,
Yep.
not just tag team wrestling, just wrestling in general.
Yeah. I mean, that's why he's one of the coaches on that. What is that? LFG? Is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah, which I think is scripted as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. If 1% is, but yeah, he's a smart motherfucker. That's why he's still in the business doing what he's doing.
And he's been on Busted Open on a Sirius XM as a co-host for the longest time too, over there with Dave
That's right.
LaGreca and Tommy Dreamer and the rest of them. But yeah, man, solid choice, dude, for a number 3 pick, having the Dudley Boys / Team 3D on your list, man. I
Hell
applaud you
yeah.
on that one. They would have been on my list too if they weren't on yours. That's
Yep.
how good they are, in my opinion, too.
Hell yeah, man. What's your number 3? What you got?
All right, again, I don't want this to be like I'm doing a TNA fucking love fest over here. But again, it's a tag team that is just now starting to get recognition after so long of being so fucking great. My number 3 is going to be none other than Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns. Of course,
Yes.
in TNA, they lit it over. They lit it on fire over there. Now they're finally getting their props in WWE, mainly on the SmackDown brand over there. Finally
Yep.
getting what they deserve. But yeah, man, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, dude. Just to go off of their accomplishments real quick, they were Baltimore Sun Tag Team of the Year in 2010, PWI's Tag Team of the Year in 2010. They were number 5 in PWI's Top 100 Tag Teams in 2023. Let's see, how many times did they win the TNA? They won the TNA Tag Team Championships 3 times. Sabin was a 2-time X Division champion. Shelley was a 1-time X Division champion. Alex Shelley went on to be come TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and so did Chris Sabin too, if I'm not mistaken, for a brief period of time there when Hogan took over. But yeah, man, they had a great run in TNA, a great
Yep.
run over there in New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. They really had funny skits with Kevin Nash when they first teamed up together, I believe in 2008, somewhere around there. But yeah, man, they were so fucking fun, dude. And it's just funny just to see how good of a tag team they still are so many years later, but this time doing
Yep.
it for WWE.
Yeah, man, their X Division matches that they would have, man, fucking insane. Yeah, I'm just because of this list, it would be fun to see Paul London and Brian Kendrick versus them in their prime.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That match would be fucking incredible to see. But yeah, I mean, talk about another tag team that has been going for a while, 20 years now. You know, that's a long time to fucking still going. And it's not just one guy, it's both of them
Yep.
still fucking getting it.
Yep, they originally formed in 2006, and it wasn't until April of 2007 that they really stepped on the map for TNA. And once again, man, TNA and their tag team wrestling, dude. Like,
Yep.
if there's one thing that TNA did right, and there was a lot of them, but one thing they really did right was put the emphasis on tag team wrestling and make tag team wrestling fun again. Because
Yes.
after WWF bought WCW and ECW, again, there's like their tag teams were there to be there, but they weren't anything
Mm-hmm.
like special. There wasn't a lot of time put into
No.
tag teams where TNA was on fucking fire with their tag teams.
Yes. Yes. Can't agree more. Hell
So
yeah.
yeah, number 3, the Motor City Machine Guns, man, and they're fused with Team 3D over there. We just talked about Team 3D, and now over in WWE doing their thing, man. It's awesome to see for Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, dude, that after all these years they're still going strong, and in WWE and on the big stage now, man. So props to them. But yeah, number 3, Motor City Machine Guns.
Hell yeah, man. You're 3 for 3. TNA.
I know, right? Kind of interesting to see. When I was trying to think about my list and putting my list together too, I really wasn't gonna pick one company over the other, but it's just like,
Yeah.
again, with our fandom and
Right.
our top 5, our personal top 5, it's like I couldn't leave these teams out. I just couldn't.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. I mean, great fucking pick so far, man.
Yeah, you too, dude. Thank you. So, Willie, we are on to number 2.
All right. Damn, number 2 already, huh? Here we are.
Flying through it.
Well, my number 2 is a obvious tag team. It is a popular tag team. It is one of the most popular tag teams, and I don't think we need to spend a whole lot of time on it because everybody knows who they are, and that is DX. You have Triple H and you have Shawn Michaels, the original DX, and of course, when they got back together in 2006, DX. Those two were just DX. You know, it's like you can talk all day about what they've done. You can talk all day of who they are, and at the end of the day, you can't have a top 5 tag team list without the Dudleys, and you can't have a top 5 tag team list without DX. So I had to put that on
Correct.
there.
And what's funny too is a lot of people obviously will look to Triple H and Shawn Michaels as single competitors, which they did have legendary runs as single competitors.
Right.
But they were fun as hell together in DX, especially when they put the group together for the first time in 1997 through early '98. They were fun to watch. They did a lot of shit they weren't supposed to be doing. They broke a
Yep.
lot of rules. They were trendsetters, man. But yeah, DX, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels were always fun to watch.
Yep. They definitely made the Monday Night Wars entertaining on the other side, on the WWF side. That's for
Yep.
sure.
Agreed. And what's funny is too is they were so good together, but they were also great as opponents against each other too.
They were. They were.
They had a
Like we.
street fight when Shawn Michaels first came back after years of so long without wrestling, and he came back and he had shorter hair to like shoulder length,
Yep.
and him and Triple H had a fucking street fight, dude. That was just bloody,
It
brutal,
was
and fucking went
bloody,
everywhere,
man.
dude. I think it was like a 35-minute match, too, man, but it didn't even
Yep.
feel like it.
And then 3 years later, they formed DX again. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, awesome pick at number 2. I don't think you could go wrong not having Triple H and Shawn Michaels on your list
Yeah.
as a tag team.
Definitely.
I I wonder though, how many tag team matches did Triple H and Shawn Michaels end up having? You know, that's a good question.
That's a very good question, especially like full length,
Yeah.
because of course they would have matches, but it was the Monday Night War, so there's always something going on. The match would end, and the match would
Hmm.
just not happen. You know, so
Right.
Very interesting. I don't know. That's a very good statistic that I want to know.
Yeah, that would be interesting too. If you guys watched our last episode that we did on pro wrestling, we did watch wrestling get drunk. It was a trivia game that we did, and if that was a trivia question in that game, I would get that fucking thing wrong because I have no idea how
Yep.
many times Triple H and Shawn Michaels have wrestled as a tag team. But it was enough to have them be on your list at number two. And I think that's a strong choice for number two. I could
Yeah.
see Team 3D at number two, and I could see DX at number three, but I can also see
Right.
it the way you have it on your list too. Again, it's
Yep.
personal choice. It's the list that you wanted by your fandom, and damn, these are some great lists so far.
I know, man. I'm just waiting for the next TNA tag team that you got. So, what what's your number two,
Well,
man?
my number two. So before I get there, just once again, ladies and gentlemen, X, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. Please like, share, and comment. Um, Let us know what you think. And hit up those comments, man. And let's get the ball rolling here. Let's get this show out there and get it seen by as many people as possible. We really enjoy doing this show, and we want your feedback as well. So all the social media platforms, you can find us there. Hit that like button and subscribe button and share button as well if you wouldn't mind. So my number two is not TNA this time
Damn
around.
it. All right.
Okay. My number two could have easily been a number one. My number two arguably could be on that list of Mount Rushmore tag teams of all time. For me personally, when my deepest fandom of wrestling, this tag team always stood out to me for good reasons. And my number two is going to be from WCW, World Championship Wrestling. They were primarily better known as in WCW. They were tag team previous. But my number two is going to be Booker T, Stevie Ray, and the Harlem Heat.
Damn. Hell yeah. I was. That's actually one of my honorable mentions.
Hell yeah,
Hell yeah,
dude.
man.
They were tag team champions in WCW for 10 times. They were Pro Wrestling Illustrated Tag Team of the Year from 1995 to 1996. They ranked number 62 of the 100 best tag teams of the PWI years in 2003. They were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2019. Booker T obviously had a bigger solo career after Harlem Heat than Stevie Ray did, but together as a tag team, man, legendary feuds with guys like the Outsiders, the Steiner brothers, you name it, Dungeons of Doom, the Faces of Fear, all of them in WCW, dude. Booker T and Stevie Ray, a legendary fucking tag team, dude. I could have easily put this as number one for me,
Hmm.
but they're a strong number two. And I still, to this day, man, when I think about tag team wrestling, I think about Harlem Heat.
Yeah, when you think about tag team wrestling, you also think about the look that they present, right? And
Yes.
you when they walk out, you're like, "Yep, they're a tag team." They were similar built, similar height, similar in the ring. They were just on beat and on target on what they wanted and easy. Like you could put them up against anybody, and that match would be fucking epic because they're
Yes.
that fucking good. And I don't think they get enough credit, honestly, at all.
They don't. People obviously gravitate towards Booker T and his solo career, which is understandable, but you can't you can't downplay the significance that Harlem Heat had in tag team wrestling.
No.
In a time when WCW was tag team heavy, no other tag team stood out as much as Harlem Heat did. They just had the
Mhm.
chemistry. They were two big fucking dudes in that ring too. But for as
Yep.
big of a dude as Booker T was, he was doing all the high flying moves,
Yep.
jumping off the top rope. Stevie Ray was like your ground them, pound them, smash them, heavyweight brute.
Right.
They fed off of each other so well. Real life brothers, by the way, too.
Yep.
It was Stevie Ray who got into wrestling first, ended up bringing Booker T in to kind of save Booker T because Booker T was getting in a lot of trouble in and around the time before he got into wrestling too. So it was a great, release for him to get his head straight and his life back on track, man. But
Yep.
I would have loved to see Harlem Heat versus a team like Dudley Boys. I think that would have been a
Yeah.
fun tag team match. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, it would have been nice to see Stevie Ray come over to WWF when they purchased WCW and kind of rekindle that fire with Harlem Heat. I don't think
Right.
they would have done them justice though in WWF as they did in WCW. But on the Mount Rushmore of tag team wrestling, I think it's safe to say that Harlem Heat has to take their place in that group for sure.
I love it. I love it. I wasn't expecting that to be so high up on your list.
Really.
No, well, I didn't also expect 3 TNA tag teams to be on our list either. So
I'm just full of surprises over here, ain't I?
yeah, I guess you are. Great fucking pick. And I'm reading here that they actually reunited in 2015 to work Booker T's promotion
Reality of
for
wrestling. Yep.
for one last match. Interesting. I never knew that.
Yep, and it's right there in Houston, Texas, too. Is Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. A lot of
That's
people have come
right.
through there over the years. One of the standout female wrestlers for NXT right now, her name escapes me. I'm sorry, but she was trained by Booker T on Reality of Wrestling, and she's kicking ass over in NXT. So obviously, he can do something
Yeah.
right because he's got his own school. He's
Right.
a coach on LFG for WWE that we were talking about a little bit earlier with Bully Ray.
Yep.
But yeah, man, Booker T, Stevie Ray, Harlem Heat, a solid choice at number 2 in my opinion.
Hell yeah. Great fucking choice.
Yeah. All right.
Oh
We made it
man,
to
we
our
made it.
number 1.
Number one.
I think before we give our number 1, should we do our honorable mentions?
Yeah, yeah. You go ahead. What you got?
Okay, so for my honorable mentions, I talked earlier on at the beginning of the podcast that a lot of people would have like the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express, maybe even the Freebirds on their list. And I
Yeah.
said I left those off of our list for a reason because those are obviously on everybody's list. And
Hmm.
some of my honorable mentions are that in the same vein, the same way too. I would have kicking off our honorable mentions list, I would have the New Age Outlaws on that list. Road Dogg,
Yeah.
Jesse James, and Badass Billy Gunn. They were rocking and rolling in the WWF during the Attitude Era, eventually joining up with Shawn Michaels and, well, not Shawn Michaels, but with Triple H and X Pac and D Generation X. Um, I would definitely have them on there. The Hardy Boys are another team that I had as an honorable mention. What they
Yep.
did for tag team wrestling too, especially in the WWEF, when again they didn't put much emphasis on tag team wrestling. The
No.
Hardy Boys made sure to kick that fucking door in and be known and be heard.
Yep.
So they would be on my list. Edge and Christian were also on my list as well.
Yep.
Just because of once they broke away from the Brood and they were starting to do their thing with the Hardy Boys and Dudley Boys and the TLC matches. Then when they got away from that, they became like a comedy group,
Yep.
with the benefit of those with flash photography, all that
Yeah.
bullshit. They were fun as hell to watch, and they just reunited recently in AEW,
They
and they will be
did.
taking on FTR coming up at the next pay per view, which is finally they're doing something right with them over there. They dropped
Right.
the ball when the Hardy Boys were over there in AEW, but yeah, those were some of my teams that I threw on there, and of course I'm going to throw the Outsiders on that list as well. Again, I'm not going to do every fucking wrestling show and talk about the NWO because everybody knows I love the NWO. But the Outsiders would definitely be on that list. They're not on my main list, but they would be on my honorable
Yeah.
mentions just
I
because, I didn't want to add them.
I thought for sure that was gonna be your number one. All right. Guess it's
Yep.
not.
Nope. Not my number 1, but on my honorable mentions for sure. Willie, what's
All
yours?
right. Shit. Well, I had a lot of what you said. There's two that you didn't say. Well, you said one, but I had Revival,
Yep.
FTR, or yeah. Um, I know them more of their NXT stuff than I do of their AEW stuff. But
Their AEW stuff is really good too. They're a
yeah,
tag team that I think AEW has utilized really well.
they're fucking amazing. The
Yes, they're
chemistry
a throwback.
yeah, exactly. They have a very very well put together fucking tag team, and they don't need to do fucking flips to make it work. You know,
Correct.
it's just a brilliant fucking tag team, man. And I was so sad when they left WWE. That was a very very fucking disappointing fucking departure.
Yep. They took it hard too.
Yep, they did. And then my other one, I had the Los Guerreros, Eddie and Chavo.
Mm-hmm.
Classic,
Definitely.
fucking stealing, fucking causing havoc in every fucking match that they ever had.
Mm-hmm.
It's
A lot
like
of people forget that they were a tag team briefly too.
they were there. Of course, rest in peace, Eddie
Yep.
and Chavo, man, fucking brilliant tag team. But yeah, then of course I had fucking Harlem Heat. I had Edge and Christian, so pretty similar list. Yeah,
Fucking A, brother.
yep,
Can't go wrong with any of these teams. Like I said, it's hard to put together a top 5 tag team wrestling list, dude. But
yeah,
there's been so many of them through the years. But I think our lists so far have been pretty damn good, in my opinion.
yeah, yep.
All right, so that leads
All
us
right.
into our number 1 picks now, Mr. Willie. So number 1, top 5 tag team wrestlers for you. Who do you got?
My number one has to be Brothers of Destruction.
Nice.
Sorry. I mean, I probably shouldn't be picking Taker on every fucking number one I have, just like you should be picking NWO, but here we are, bitches. So Yeah, I had to pick Kane and Taker, dude. Just fucking those two are incredible on their own, and then you put them together, you're like, "What the fuck are we doing?" And it worked out. You know, it's like they're
Right.
fucking they're brothers. They were fighting, but now they're a tag team. You know, it's like all right,
Yep.
but they fucking dominated, dude. They fucking just a big ass powerhouse fucking boys, man, going in there and taking care of shit, and just the characters and the storytelling that they would play too. Just
Hmm.
professionals, you know, just a very. I know they're not like the best fucking tag team in the fucking world, but for me, because in the beginning I said my list is more nostalgic than anything else, so
Hmm.
that's why they're my number one.
Yeah, you got two strong characters too with the Undertaker and Kane. I remember when Kane first debuted on the scene, ripping off that Hell in a Cell cage door with Paul Bearer behind him to go in and fuck up Undertaker as his long lost brother and all this shit.
Yep,
You know what I mean? And then you have them as a tag team, and I remember distinctively too that they would both do the choke slam at the same time. And
yep,
you'd have both these big ass dudes in the ring picking up these wrestlers way above their heads and then dropping them at the same time. The
yeah,
Brothers of Destruction were a fun ass team to watch.
and a big, kudos to Taker because I think Taker is someone that has been in the business for a while, and at that time, he didn't need a fucking tag team. He didn't need someone to call him, a brother, right? But because Kane is so fucking badass, and behind the mask, that is Kane is such a professional himself. So I mean, it's just very big kudos to Taker to fucking be, yeah, sure, I'll have a fucking brother,
Right, right. My
badass.
question is, when Kane and Taker were together as a tag team, was that just the whole run of their tag team? Was that when Taker was Biker Taker? He wasn't like Dead Man Taker, right? At all in that tag
Yeah,
team?
yeah, he was. It was. I think it was in '99, right before he started Ministry, and then they were like tag team for like here and there, and then the Ministry took over, and then that kind of squashed it. And
Because I
then
know when Taker came back as Biker Taker, it was a different side of him, and I
yeah,
know that's when things with him and Kane really took over. And then when
yep,
WCW got bought out too, they had a feud with Chronic, which Chronic I would have from WCW would be on my honorable mention list as well.
yeah,
But I know when Chronic came over, I think it was at a WrestleMania, I think it was, or not a WrestleMania, I think it was Survivor Series, but it was the Brothers of Destruction, Taker, Biker Taker, and Kane against Chronic, and
yeah,
Taker and Kane won and became like the unified tag team champions or some shit. Chronic, they didn't use Chronic for shit in WWF,
no,
obviously, when the WCW got bought out. But a lot of memorable events though with Taker and Kane and Brothers of Destruction.
hell yeah, man, and definitely a Hall of Famers. They're definitely kind of like Triple H and Shawn, like they had their own solo career and it fucking worked out for them big time, of course. And then they came together and it worked out too. It's pretty cool.
I would put Triple H and Shawn, Taker and Kane tag team on the same list as the Outsiders, where you had Kevin Nash and Scott Hall as great singles competitors,
Mhm.
accomplished a lot as single competitors, and then when they became a tag team, it was just like holy shit, this is pretty awesome. And
Yep.
I think it's not an argument to say that the Outsiders had more of a profound impact in not only tag team wrestling but in wrestling period, as opposed to
Right.
like Taker and Kane and Shawn and Triple H. But it's just interesting to see just how you could take two iconic single competitors, put them together in a tag team, and it fucking makes it
Hmm.
work. And that just
Yep.
goes to show you just how smart wrestling business mind wise that these guys are.
Hell yeah, dude. And yeah, I would agree that the Outsiders would definitely fit into that. They were, of course, both, characters of their own, and you put them together and it fucking worked out.
Yep, absolutely, dude. Great choice at number one. Once again, Willie, number one is the Brothers of Destruction, Undertaker and Kane. Now on to my number one. Do you want to take a guess at what it is?
Yeah.
What?
Heart Foundation.
Nope.
Down. No, I don't know then. What is it?
Nope. Not the Heart Foundation. This one actually might take you by surprise. I put them on my list. This could have been a list that had, or this team could have been on a list that includes the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express with legendary tag teams. And the reason why they're on my list is because my fandom and my growing up watching wrestling, they stood out to me in a more of a different way. then a lot of people, a lot of the pundits and critics would have them on the list. But my number one tag team, my top five, is going to be none other than the Road Warriors, Legion of Doom,
Oh, okay.
Hawk and
Damn,
Animal.
I could have guessed that too. Son of a bitch. Hell yeah.
They are very, very accomplished. You want to talk about a tag team that ran through every single territory, that went through every single company and found success? That's the
Yep.
Road Warriors. There's a reason why it's called the Road Warrior Pop. When they came through the curtain, the fucking place exploded. The fans were on their feet. Whether they were good guys, bad guys, didn't fucking matter. The Road Warriors were in the ring to kick ass and take names. They were known a little bit as, stiff workers,
Hmm.
would kind of like light you up for real in the middle of that ring, but that just goes to show you the nature of wrestling at the time, when they came up. But they were uh, tag team royalty, dude, in professional
Yep.
wrestling. They came out to Iron Man from Black Sabbath, if I'm not mistaken, too. Had the big pads on their chest or on their shoulders with the spikes. They had the face paint, and then of course when you go over to WWF, they changed their name to the Legion of Doom, and you would have the what a rush, and
Yep.
they lit it up, dude. Whether it was WCW, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Jim Crockett Promotions, AWA, WWE/F, didn't matter, dude. They fucking lit it up everywhere they went. Legendary feuds all across the board. Too many tag team feuds to name, but they wrestled in Japan. They wrestled here in the States. They made a name for themselves everywhere they went. And the Road Warriors deserve, in my opinion, to be top number one on the top five tag team list for me.
I love it. That's a great fucking pick. I had a feeling you're gonna pick one of those threes, them, Outsiders, or the Heart Foundation as your number one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, dude, I actually saw some videos recently of their shit in fucking Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, talk about stiff.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude. Everyone beat each other's fucking ass over there.
Yep. Yep. They definitely work stiff as fuck, dude. The Doomsday Device finisher, put the dude on the shoulder,
Yeah.
jump off, hit somebody, does a backflip. Those they would lay their shit in, bro. They were
They
not fucking around,
would.
dude. They would lay their
No.
shit in. But
Hell
uh,
yeah.
but yeah, dude, it was it Animal or Hawk? It was Animal. Animal, his brother, everybody would know, is John Laurinaitis in WWF,
Mm,
um, who did a lot of stuff over there in WCW and WWE. But his son is a football player too. And as a matter of fact, I think he plays for the Los Angeles Rams, if I'm not mistaken. Road Warrior Animal son. But
yeah.
um, but yeah, dude, just a legendary fucking tag team, man. And I think this tag team, if given the right circumstances, could have put on great matches with teams like the Dudley Boys. Could have done the
Mhm.
Outsiders. You could have done Harlem Heat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of the teams that are on our list, Beer Money would have been fun to see against the Road
Right.
Warriors. But definitely a fucking formidable force in tag team wrestling, dude. Championships galore. They
Right.
started way back in the early 80s, man, went all the way through to the 2000s. You can't say much more about the Road Warriors other than they were a fucking kick ass name taking team, dude.
Yeah, and going back to the way that tag teams should look too, right? You had both of them come out with their fucking spike fucking what the fuck you want to call it, right?
Football pads.
Shoulder pads, yeah, fucking come out. They both had their fucking face painted. They had their fucking head shaped on one side. It's like they came out and they had the fucking look. You're like, oh shit, they're together and they mean fucking business.
Yep, exactly.
Hell yeah,
And they were so popular and took over professional wrestling so well that the WWF had to kind of pivot and make their own Road Warrior team with
yeah,
oh my god, what's the fucking name? The holy shit, I just dropped drew a blank. It'll come to me. But they
yeah,
had face painted up in a big ass bruising tag team too,
yeah,
over there in WWF. But that was just how fucking popular the
yep.
Road Warriors were, and I think they found more success on the southern scene and in Japan than they ever did in WWF. They
I
had a
agree.
couple runs on and off over there, but I think a lot of their success came from like Jim Crockett Promotions, Georgia Championship Wrestling, AWA, and definitely fucking Japan than they did
Japan.
in
Yep.
WWE. And it's so sad too because that just goes to show you Demolition. That's the name tag
Okay,
team in WWF.
that's right.
Demolition, Axe and Smash. But it's just
Yeah.
so shitty, dude, that they didn't take tag team wrestling more seriously over there in WWF because they could have just fucking run rampant over there in
Yep.
WWF, dude, and took a lot of fucking
I know,
teams
bro.
out over there.
sadly, some teams just don't when they cross over from different places, it just doesn't take like it did, and
Nope.
I don't know if that's about the booking or just the overall feeling of everything, just like nothing really clicked. But that's unfortunate that they really didn't do much with them in WWE or F.
And it's sad too that teams that would come over from that were popular in other promotions that went over to the WWF would get shit on. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
Public Enemy, who first started in ECW, went to WCW, had great success, came over to WWF for a drink of water and got dumped on their heads and fucking never saw them again. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
It's that tribalism, that territorialism, especially Vince McMahon had back in the day.
Yep.
But yeah, the Road Warriors, man, they fucking kicked ass and took names, dude, and very deserving as my number one pick.
Great fucking pick. Good shit, man.
Hell yeah, dude. This was a fun top five list, in my opinion. I think what stands out to me with your pick is how it really was your fandom and how it was what you grew up watching, what you grew up,
Yep.
a fan of. And
Right.
for me, it was other than the fact of Harlem Heat and the Road Warriors, it was just trying to come up with teams that just don't get enough love that I enjoyed
No.
watching. You know what I mean? That people should be talking more about. But I think both of our lists are good, solid fucking choices, dude, for tag teams.
Hell yeah, dude. I think we did a great fucking list. And, I think these top fives still continue to surprise us of just the type of shit that we pull out of our ass.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's like shit that one of us would forget,
Yep.
or one of us wouldn't think the other one would have on the list. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
pretty impressive. But it's just so hard to come up with wrestling top fives because there's just so much of it. But
So
then
much.
again, it's like I watched wrestling more than you did back in the day, and I was more heavily invested in the older shit than you were back in the day. And now neither one of us really watch current stuff that's going on right now.
Right.
Do we know of what's going on in the current stuff? Sure, but do we watch
Yeah.
it? Not really.
Right.
But I think these top fives and just talking about professional wrestling in general is always fun.
It is.
Now, the hard part comes of what the fuck is our next topic in wrestling? That's going to be the tough one.
Well, that's where you come into play. Drop a comment below what you want to see next. You want to see a top five? You want to see us dive into a particular, pay-per-view, a particular match, like a, a particular wrestler? What do you want to see? Let us know in the comments. It'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And before we close it out today, folks, remember Instagram, X, YouTube, Spotify, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all those great things. Help us out. Let us know what you guys think. We're good for all feedback. But yeah, like Willie just said, what do you want to hear us cover next in professional wrestling? What do you want to hear us cover next in hard rock and heavy metal? The door is always open. Don't
Yep.
be shy. Feel free to leave those comments and let us know. But we enjoy doing the show. We enjoy bringing it out to you folks. And, it's always fun to do this broadcast. But I think we're about to put a bow on this one, Willie. This was a fun show, in my opinion.
Yep. It was a fun show, and I believe our next show might be a little debut of some albums. Is that not what we're doing?
Ooh, nice little teaser right there, Willie. Nice
Ooh.
little teaser.
Yeah, so if you are interested in which debut albums we're going to be discussing, you got to stay tuned because I'm not going to spoil the whole fucking thing for you. So,
Yes, our next hard rock heavy metal episode is going to be a banger for sure. But with that said, folks, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out and checking out the broadcast. I am Willie. I am Nick. That is Willie. And this is Riffs and Rasslin. And until next time, guys, peace out.
peace out, guys.